Welcome back to another episode of Daddy Issues. This episode's a little bit different. I'm going to have our guests introduce themselves and tell us a little bit about what they do.
Hey guys, I am Austin Butler. I am with Team Dad and Dad Mode through the Healthy Start Coalition of Central Florida in Hardy, Highlands, and Polk County. And basically we are here to support dads and to give them the lessons that they've either never had or never had the opportunity to have, and to provide a safe environment to where dads can just be dads, to talk about dad issues.
My name is Shaderrick Bradford. I'll be working alongside Austin, and I'll be doing some of the same things he spoke about. And I'm looking forward to making an impact on fatherhood, man, in the near future.
So my name is Ray Clay. I've basically been with Healthy Start, I'll say about 6 years now looking at. And with me going through Healthy Start, I actually started off with Teen Pregnancy Prevention Alliance. So I was actually the one as a coordinator there, and I was talking to the kids about the importance of not doing the actions to cause yourself to get pregnant. For boys to get a young lady pregnant. And then there was my manager was actually talking about there was going to be a fatherhood coach position that's going to be coming out. And I was like, I said, I want that position immediately, you know what I mean? Because it's like I'm transitioning from talking to the kids to men, and that's where I want to be at. I feel more comfortable there. I feel like I could be more effective there. So I was like, I automatically biting at that bed, telling her, hey, I want that position. Before you even put it out there, before we even ask anybody else to come on that position, I was always whispering in her ear about actually being a part of that position. And so she ended up hiring me for that position, and which was a great thing. I love the position as well. And then we got on our gentlemen here. We got Austin and Shaderrick. They came on too because we actually we started out with Team Dad, and Team Dad is actually where you do one-on-one communication with the dad. You know what I mean? Let's go through a 12-week session. And then with that, we got another fatherhood initiative program, which is called Dad Mode. And Dad Mode allows for us to go with group. So we're actually grouping our dads together. They still go through the 24/7 dad curriculum that we actually use, but they're just going to be in a group session where you get a bunch of men together to communicate more about how to effectively parent, you know what I mean, from fathering skills, parental skills, for being self-aware to better be able to communicate. So we get the men together to actually go into that more in depth into that and those subjects. So we had our fellas, they came to join us. They're a part of us, so now we're all a team. I'm just trying to reach the dads out there to better improve the community, and also just to make sure that dads are more effective with their communicating with the mother of their child and their child as well too. So that's kind of what it is there.
What got you guys into wanting to do this?
Personally, for me, I kind of had a bit of a nasty situation with family and with my daughter. And I heard about the Team Dad program. And I'm always about learning and bettering myself. So I thought I'd just jump out and try the program. And about halfway through the program, 3/4 through the program, I heard that they're going to be hiring a full team of fatherhood coaches. And I thought it'd be something that I would like to do, and I would like to give back what they've given me, because I can guarantee y'all that I am a 10 times better father now, having gone through the program, than I was before. So, and that's how I got involved in it.
And just for me, man, just came home from college, just looking for some opportunities of non-physical jobs and looking for something I felt that I can be doing a purpose in. And I stumbled upon the fatherhood coach on Indeed, just looking around, and like, man, what is this? What is this fatherhood coach like? I've never seen anything like this for dads, or fathers, like a program like this. So I just, spit in the application and start looking on the site and looking at some of the things they can do to help dads be better dads, like co-parenting and communication, things of that nature. And I took a stab at it, did 2 interviews, and they hired me on. And I've been learning to be there for the dad, but also becoming a better dad myself. So I'm happy about my role, man, and I'm passionate about it, and I'm happy I'm doing something I like to do, other than something, just to provide, money. So
Yeah, I mean, I think this should be mandatory in every state. Obviously, funding's hard, but it's just so important. But what are some of like the lessons that you guys teach these fathers? And does it need to be a single father, or like can there still be the mother and the father in the house?
Yeah, they can still be together.
Yeah.
This is just for dads in general. So we have two programs. We have Team Dad, which is for dads with children that are 0 to 3, and that's a one-on-one. We'll meet you wherever you need us to go, and that's a one-on-one session for 12 weeks where we cover the same topics in both programs, but it's more condensed in the Dad Mode program, which is a 6-week program. But we cover topics like men's health, family history, co-parenting, disciplining, learning how to discipline your kids and how to do it in a healthy way, taking care of yourself. A big one, impactful for me, was the lesson to leave work at work and to not bring your issues from work into home. Because a lot of times as men, we have so much weight on our shoulders to take care of the house, to support our family, to do all this, that we don't realize that our kids are living a life. Our spouse is still there. There's still responsibilities at the home, and and it's not right for them to take on the issues that you're bringing home from work. So those are some of the topics. And then we also have our Dad Mode program, which is like a 6-week support group for dads, where we meet up once a week. We provide food, child care if necessary, and we get together and we cover those same topics and provide a safe space for dads to talk about all of that.
Do you guys do like when you guys do one-on-ones? It's in person, or do you guys do Zooms or?
We actually we can do some Zoom as well too, but right now we're actually starting out with just one-on-one. So we what was it, this Thursday that just passed, we actually had our first Dad Mode meeting. You know what I mean? So it's our first one because we're just getting started. We actually got started with Dad Mode was in July. So that was when we actually kind of got stuff together in July. So our very first meeting was just this past Thursday. We was excited about that. So, but yeah, we actually do some Zoom, but right now it's been everything one-on-one.
Man, it's so good to hear. With going back, one of the things that I was going to ask you is like for the disciplinary stuff with your children. Back in the day, it was more physical. It was more, you're getting disciplined. Nowadays, it's kind of like use your words, really talk to your children. Do you think that that's beneficial, or how do you guys go about it, telling dads how to discipline their kids now?
I think that I can only give you examples of what I've seen, and I can only tell you what's worked for me. And going through this class and going through all the trainings and stuff, I think that there's different styles for different kinds of children. And at the end of the day, you need to find out what works best for your child and your family. Because there's going to be high conflict situations where there's a lot of trauma involved, where you're going to have to be less hands-on. Even though you want to be, you have to be less hands-on because of what they went through and how they're developing, Then there's going to be situations where, you're going to have to be an authority. You're going to have to be a dictator where it's, it's my way or the highway. There's going to be times where you're more authoritative, where you're listening to what they have to say and you're telling them this is how it's going to be, but I want to hear your input on how it's going, But I think there's definitely different ways to approach. I know, at least that's for me. What about with you, Shaderrick?
With me, just growing up, like you said, some examples, like just for me personally, I was a trouble kid growing up, man. I didn't get it straight until I got in high school and I was playing sports, and we had a strict, coaching staff, and they getting suspended and all that wasn't a thing anymore. So middle school and elementary, I was I was giving those teachers a run for their money. But just for me, I'm just thinking about with my mom. I was a kid where embarrassment was a big thing that turned me around. You know what I'm saying? So you have to figure that out with kids. You know what I'm saying? Just going and whooping them or disciplining them, they'll turn around and do it again. For me, once I got embarrassed, she popped up on me like, say I stayed out at night and, you know, the light pole on. She said, be home before the light. That was a real thing. We were having fun. You know, I don't want to go home yet. Like, you know, we just got started in the third game. And I'm like, I'm just have to take that risk today, you know? No, she'll pull around on the corner, hop out the car, you know, just get in the car, you know what I'm saying? And it's just that one moment. You know what I'm saying? Instead of me getting home, she whooped me, I go do it again the next day.
Yeah.
But that embarrassment. So you have to understand and, you know, understand your kids and see what works for them the most. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's just the biggest thing with that.
And that's also a mother that cares. You know, that's good parenting to me, because it's like she's not just letting you go off and do what you want to do. She's making sure, like, I told you to be home at this time. You're not home, so now I'm going to come get you, and I'm going to embarrass you in front of your friends.
Right. That would work with me, man, every time. Yeah, I ain't doing that no more. You know, you come out, you guys go to, you know, remember your mom pulled up last time, like, let me go home, man.
Yeah. Yeah, another one when you were talking about having your kids kind of also talk to you and tell you what they're feeling. I literally just had a conversation with my oldest daughter, who she's the one who has the biggest problems with what me and her mom are going through. But I sat in the car, and I was just like, tell me what you think. Tell me what you're feeling. She's like, well, it doesn't matter. It's not going to hold any weight. I'm like, it will hold weight, you know? But at the end of the day, it's like some of the things that I say, it is what it is. Like you were saying, like sometimes you got to be a dictator. But then sometimes, you know, I'm like, just at least if you tell me, I'll know what you're thinking. I'll know, you know, how can I change some of these things. But it's hard it took me a while to, like, kind of get in that mindset. But, yeah.
Right. Because it's hard that's another thing we talk about, dads just showing their feelings, you know, finding the right, you know, areas and the right moments to show their feelings. And that was a big moment for you. Like, let's just open up at this moment. You know what I'm saying? What are you feeling? You know, let's talk about it. You know, it's not irrelevant. You know what I'm saying? And it's good for dads to do that at times. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times, you know, dads need to, you know, hold their feelings in for certain areas, you know, just to keep that masculinity, I guess. You know what I'm saying? But it's also good for dads to open up in certain areas, and you realize that was the area you needed to open up, you know, with your daughter and just talk to her about, you know, this situation. So that's some things we also, you know, talk about in our groups, and, you know what I'm saying? And this is a great thing, man.
What are some of the biggest challenges that you hear of these dads going through? Obviously, there's many. You know, to me, it would be like alienation and stuff, you know, with the mother of your children. But what do you find is like the biggest challenges with these dads that they're going through?
That's true, because one of the things I do find that I've been from talking to the dads is there's a lot of miscommunication with them and the mother of their child. Also, I'm finding that dads just the understanding of what it means to really show your child that you love them, or show your child that you care for them. The nurturing part when it comes to that relationship, I think that's where it's kind of lost at with dads, because you know how dad know to be strong, to be tough, you know what I mean, to provide and protect, you know what I'm saying. But the actual caring part that goes with that, I think that's where a lot of dads lack off, just because for some of them they haven't had a dad in their life, so they don't know what it looked like to actually have to do that, to be nurturing to a child. And for someone that did have a dad in life, that dad wasn't that type of dad. So it's just with them learning and understanding what that looked like, and that can kind of help out the situation. So that's what we kind of find out as far as that when it comes to dad.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because back in the day, parenting was different, and you obviously didn't have the divorce rate that you have now. So this is probably going to take years for you guys to actually see some results, because I mean it's an amazing thing that you guys are doing, but to actually see some results that's going to fix the communities, fix, you know, relationships in general, it's probably going to be, you know, a generational thing.
Absolutely, I absolutely agree with that. And I think when our Florida Governor Ron DeSantis actually came up with the idea to actually do the Fatherhood Initiative program, it's going to be it is going to take a couple of months to actually get it going because we're just getting it started. We're like a year old now. The whole fatherhood initiative that Florida is pushing towards, we're a year old now. So it's going to take some years for you actually see the results of what you've been doing and taking the fathers through to actually process through because the effectiveness of how the dads be able to interact with their kid and even to communicate with their mother, it's going to take some time to actually see how that happened and what that looked like. And I'm hoping that by doing this fatherhood initiative program that Florida's driving after, because all 67 counties actually have a team dad program in it. So they all of us in the whole state of Florida, all 67 counties has this. And I think one of the great things I would love to be able to read is that, hey, Florida, the number of dads actively participating in their child life has increased from the time it started now to, let's say, 5 years from now or 10 years from now. You can actually do the statistic and see that number have increased and see the impact that Florida has had because of the Fatherhood Initiative program that has been installed into Florida.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly it. It's like I hope this goes, nationwide and goes to all the states. I think it should be mandatory. But, he's cutting the head off the snake. You know what I mean? It's like you hear all these statistics. We were talking earlier, and it's like, all these in prisons and gang violence and everything that's happening contributes to the father not being in the home. So when you put this program, when you guys started this and you're, really working at it, it's like that's going to fix all of these other issues that are happening with these kids.
Absolutely. Because there's statistics that show that when a dad is involved into that child's life, that the child actually behaves in school, the child gets more A's, the child participates more in leadership. So everything about that child actually increased because the dad is involved into that child's life. If I can, I just want to share just a personal example on why I think it is important and to actually show you how from my life story kind of shows how that is true. Those statistics that we're talking about the improvement of what it does to a child. So I had my oldest daughter, I was given custody of her when she was in the 6th grade. Okay. At the time when I got custody of her, she was making C's, D's, and F's. Okay. And so the very first day that I got her after she went to school that day, the very first day, I stayed up till 4 o'clock in the morning time doing a word search.
Yeah.
I mean, she was in the 6th grade. She was crying, Dad, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. I said, we're going to sit here until you actually complete this word search. I don't care how long it takes. We're going to get this done. No matter what, we're going to get this done. And so by the time we got done at 4 o'clock, she had to wake back up again because she was going to middle school. So I was like, hey, this is what we did. So I was trying to set the expectation of what she can expect while she's living with me. And I can tell you, man, my daughter has graduated from Bartow High School with honors. She's went to Bethune-Cookman University. She graduated with honors. She's getting ready. She has 6 more hours left in her master's program. She's in Houston by herself. She saved the money, went to Houston. She's living in Houston now. She's a teacher. So the statistics of a dad actually participating and being inside that child life totally is true. It's not just made up statistics or just some numbers that came from somewhere. That's true because I myself experienced what has changed and transformed my daughter life just by me actually being a participant and being involved into her life. So that's that. I when those statistics say those numbers, I know it's true. I know it's true.
So bring me through one of the groups. So like it's state funded, so these fathers don't have to pay for it?
No,
Okay.
it's 100% free.
So how do they contact you guys and then show up to a couple meetings?
Oh, man, so this is great. you can so if you look up Healthy Start, for us, our jurisdiction is within Polk County, Hardy County, and Polk, Hardy, and Highlands County. Our Dad Mode group is just in Polk County right now because it's brand new program. We're in one of the pilot groups that is trying this. So you can find us if you go to healthystarthhp.org. You'll be able to find us on there. You can find us on TikTok at Team Dad Mode on TikTok. You could either contact me my name is Austin Butler. My email, abutler@healthystarthhp.org. You can contact Shaderrick the same way at sbradford@healthystarthhp.org. And or Ray. He's not here with us today, but you can contact him at rclay@healthystarthhp.org. You can contact us over Facebook through our Healthy Start Coalition of Hardy Highlands of Polk County. And we also do community events. If there's an event, if we have an opportunity to talk about our cause and what we're doing, I can guarantee you we'll do everything we can to be there and to spread the word. So,
Yeah, and this is in Florida for the people who, if we didn't say it already.
Absolutely. Yeah, I apologize. Yeah.
Yeah, it should be all over because it's amazing. I just think it's so good because I hear all the time on these dads coming on, they're like, I just have no help. There's no one to help me, and it just crushes them.
Yeah, and that's what we're seeing because there's a stigma right now because you have some dads that are saying, man, I really wish I had help. I really wish there was a group out there where I could get advice, where I can talk, where I won't be shamed for having questions. Then you have dads that are like, man, I'm working my butt off. I don't need to be doing this, that, or the other. But you don't realize that as you get older, your friend groups get smaller. And this is something Ray talks about a lot. We when we're young, we have this huge friend group. Then we get older, we have kids, we get married, and we have these full-time jobs and everything we're doing. And our group gets smaller and smaller and smaller. And these groups provide us an outlet, an opportunity to where we can be ourselves and we can talk about these topics in a supportive, safe environment where we don't have to worry about being criticized for or ostracized for feeling this way or that way. And we learn that it's safe to be caring. What's the word I'm looking for? Caring and involved fathers,
Yeah. Yeah. Now, what do you do when, you have, or what do you tell fathers when there's a certain rules at your house and there's certain rules at mom's house, or she's doing her thing, you're doing your thing. So it's very confusing for the child if he's going back and forth, if it's 50-50 or whatever. What do you tell dads, like, try to get along with your ex, or like, these are some steps that will help you? What are some things to tell dads to help them out with that?
One of the things I like to try to share with dads is that we want to make the main thing the main thing. And the main thing is you being a part of that child's life. And that's very important that they need to understand. So make the main thing the main thing is not the relationship of you and your mother, you and the child's mother. If y'all agreeing or getting along, the main thing is making sure that you are involved and actively participating inside the child's life. And one of the things I would like to share with the dads too as well is that while you're making the main thing, your goal is to try to make sure that it's a consistency at her house and at your house. Now, there may be times where you just don't agree. You just don't agree. And then you're going to have those situations. So you need to have set standards that you make the child aware of, and also that you make the mother of your child aware of as well too, so that you guys can try to get on the same page, and so that the child don't understand that, well, mama let me get away with this and daddy don't let me get away with this. You know what I mean? But you want to be on the same page so the child understands, hey, it's look like this when I'm at my mother's house, and it look like this when I'm at my dad's house. So I think that's very important to let dads know, hey, you want to try to make it look the same either way it goes. And if there's some things that you guys can't agree on, well, you just can't agree on, but you definitely want to make sure that you're communicating and make sure it's the same in either situation.
Yeah, that's what I find that hard, especially in my situation as well. But I went through a bad split with my ex, and we just didn't get along about anything. So it was very hard for my kids to, and then you have kids picking sides, they chose their mother's side, and I was just didn't know what to do. It was very hard. And, I was yelling a lot at them, and I realized, down the road, that's not helping. I was just getting frustrated, and, if I could go back and, apologize for those type of things, I would. But how do you tell dads to deal with you know, because they're getting stress on top of, you know, having their kids, on top of paying child support, on top of work, and on top of providing for, you know, their household and all that. What do you tell dads to do or how to help that?
Well, here's one of the things too, and thank you for sharing that as well with some of your experiences. Is one of the things I like to tell dad is the first thing when going through that. So you say if the child, the kids choose their mother. You know what I mean? The main thing you want to let a child know is that you love them. You can say the words, you can tell them, you can text them. The child needs to know and hear the words that I love you. That is so important. It sounds very simple. I know Stevie Wonder said these 3 words, and it was "I love you," and it sounds so simple, and it sounds so like just how they need to hear that Daddy loved them, despite whatever situation it is that they're going through. That they know that they can count on Daddy, because you got to think, child, as far as their prefrontal cortex, I think that's what it's called.
Yep.
Is not fully developed until they're 20-something. So you're going to go with the ups and downs of the child's decisions or certain things of those nature. But it's very important that you let the child know that you love them. And then also, I want to share this with you too as well. So there may be times in a parent life, because there's no exact book on how do you raise your child. You know, there's no exact book to tell you need to do this, because every child is different. Every situation is different. So you cannot use one cookie cutter for every situation. But one of the things I will share with you, and it's just from a personal experience. I was talking to my second oldest daughter, and she was like, "Daddy, you know, we're not real affectionate. We're not a real affectionate family. We're not real affectionate talking to each other." And I said, "Okay." And I thought about that because I thought I was doing okay as a dad. You know, my girls need me. My girls are actually staying with me in my house. And I figured with my grandsons, if they need me or they need me to do something, I'll be willing to do it. I'm glad Daddy's help you out. But when she said that, that made me think about some things that I thought was very important. And I told my daughters, I said, well, on July 20th, that's going to be our family birthday. It's not because I was once married, but now I'm divorced. And I said, it's going to be our family birthday. And what Daddy's going to do with you guys, I took him out. I say, Daddy's going to love you. He's going to tell you he loves you. He's going to be affectionate. And he's going to be very supportive of you. And I apologize to them for my actions that I may have done that they didn't understand or that may have hurt our relationship. But I wanted them to understand this day moving forward, this is how our relationship is going to look. So it's just a way to communicate back with your kids. Hey, Daddy may have did this, okay? But my goal is to make sure our relationship is looking good. My goal is to make sure that you guys know that I love you. My goal is to make sure that you guys know that I support you. My goal is to make sure that you know that I'll be in your life. And that's the thing. And one of the things, too, I want to share is that inside of the 24/7 Dad curriculum, there's a part that talks about discipline versus punishment. And people's like, well, when people say discipline, they're terming it as, they're putting it as a punishment. Discipline is a guide. Discipline means guiding and correcting. Punishment means screaming, yelling, putting you down, all of that. You know what I mean? So I'm taking something away. That's punishment. So the thing that we got to understand is we got to separate the two and understand we especially with dads, with a lot of stressors that we're dealing with already, with the child support, with the mother of our child's situation, and the stuff that we're dealing with at work, and the stuff that we have, our life situations that we're going through, that so we're stressed out. One of the main things I like to try to tell the dad do is to actually discipline them, correct them. So if they do something wrong, instead of bringing all of that energy, no, just correct them. Talk to them first. Let them know, okay, hey, this is how you do this is how you do that. Because you got to understand, as a dad, we have been on this earth way longer than they have. So if we can get them to understand the correcting points that we're trying to get them to do a certain action. So you're going to correct them instead of coming off with strong amount of punishment, a strong amount of this, a strong amount of that. Correct them and guide them and help them come to that decision or whatever it is that they're trying to do. And what it does is you're building trust with that child.
Yeah.
That's the main thing you want. I tell parents that's the main thing you want to be able to do is to build trust with that child, because you want that child, when they're going through a certain situation or a particular incident, they want to be able to come to you and ask you, how do they handle that, Dad? Because you don't want them to rely on their friends or some people or their younger cousins or stuff of that nature. You want them to rely on you so that they know they got the trust and they got trust in you to, hey, I can go to our dad and see what he said about this situation. And I believe that he'll be able to guide me and lead me in that correct decision for that decision that I'm trying to make. So that's one of the things I would say when it comes to that.
Yeah, I mean, that's when you know that your child will be in good hands if she or he can come to their parents and ask the questions instead of going to their friends. When you talked about guys being more emotional too, it's hard because when you're in a relationship, men and women play different roles. Obviously, the woman's a little bit more emotional. The man's kind of providing whatever. So when there's that split, the man has to be more emotional and do the things that he's not really used to doing. And it's tough. It's tough to get into that character, I guess.
Oh, it absolutely is. It absolutely is. And one of the things I like to share with dads too as well is the reason, the difficulty for it is like, as a man, if you didn't grow in a household with a man there, so what men have a tendency of doing is modeling their dad. You know what I mean? So we model our dad, and for the dads of daughters, you're the first man that daughter should have, that daughter will have, that first husband. So however you are, that's how that daughter's going to probably pick a guy similar to your characteristics. So without having that idea of what that may look like for some of them, it's kind of hazy. I mean, how to do this? How do I come about creating the action? So the very first thing that I would tell a dad to do, and I did tell a dad this. Matter of fact, it was a younger teen dad, and I told him, I said, make sure you tell your son and your daughter every single day that you see them, every day that they talk to you, and even days that they're not around, that you love them. And I just want to share this experience with him. His son was 1 year old, and he would say he was doing it every day. And then he said, you know what? He said, I was changing my son a pamper. And he said, I love you. And the son said, I love you too. And the son, he's 1 year old, so he don't know exactly, what he's saying. But because his daddy been saying it so much to him, now the child immediately came right back with it. You know what I mean? And that's powerful for dads to understand. So I would always start out with, even if you don't know how to show the emotions or even how to be there to interact with the child, let the child know that you love them. Say those words because that's so important that the child can hear, hey, daddy loved them. You want that child to know that more than anything else, no matter what it is that you're going through, that daddy loves you and daddy's going to be there to support you and help you out. And that's very key when it comes to the emotional part that man has to show. So even if you don't know how to show it, even if you know what that looks like, just start with that. Tell your child, I love you. When you see him, I love you. When you talk to him, I love you. That's the first and the last thing of the conversation. Hey, I love you. You know what I mean? Y'all talk, then, I just want to let you know again, daddy loves you. You know what I mean? I think that's really important with the steps to actually being emotional, to actually being able to show the child what it is that you're trying to emotionally show the child as well. Just start with that. Just 3 simple words. I love you.
Yeah. So I was going to ask all three of you if you guys could give some advice. I think that's some great advice right there. But if no, you could. But if you guys could all kind of get your perspective and throw some advice out there for dads.
I think one of the best pieces of advice, and it's been kind of my theme for the year, and it's that your situation does not define you. And just because you're going through a hard time, just because you have all this child support or you're going through all this custody stuff, that doesn't define you. The amount of time you get with your child does not define you. You're struggling because your kids are having a hard time in school or there's been some traumatic experiences. So your relationship with your child at that time may not be what you want it to be. That does not define you. What defines you is your actions, what you do. You're getting up every day, you're being present for your child, and you're constantly fighting to be the best dad you could be. And that's going to look different for each person. My 100% is going to look different than Shaderrick's 100%. It's going to look different than Dan's 100%. Going to look different than Ray's 100%. All we could do is realize that our situation does not define us. in that as long as we're doing the best we can in that moment, we'll be fine. And life will keep moving. And no matter what, at the end of the day, you're still a dad. You're still your child's father. And you can still be the best you can be no matter what. And that's kind of been my theme for the year. So that's my little piece of advice.
One of my big ones, man, is don't let nobody keep you from your child, man. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times dads have these situations with the mom, and you know what I'm saying, she's getting at them about this, you ain't been here for that, you been here for that, don't show, why you showing up now? And a lot of times dads let that get to them, man, and they stop showing up because they just don't want to deal with her. Man, I just say, man, y'all just buckle down. Just like, man, I'm there for my child, you know what I'm saying? If you got to take the legal matter to do that, you know what I'm saying, just to be there for your child, if you can get them, 2 hours out of the day, or you can get them a weekend, just, man, the dads just, man, just don't listen to them, you know what I'm saying? If you can be there for your child, man, do that, you know what I'm saying? That's one of the biggest things, to start being there, being participant, like Ray said, man, that's the biggest thing, to start taking steps and being a great dad, man, and you build off that, man, but just don't let nobody hold you back. The only person can hold you back for being there for your child is you. You know what I'm saying? If you got to, like I said, take those other measures, you know what I'm saying, to get in the door, then you have to do that. You know what I'm saying? But you don't want to grow up be like, Dad, why you want here? Cause your mom was she was tripping. You know what I'm saying? It's like, don't let that be a factor. So that's a big thing. I advise that as well.
Yeah, and I think Florida's taking the right steps, and it's a 50-50 state already, so right off the jump when you break up you have 50-50. These other states, the men kind of have to work up to 50-50. And I mean, for me, I was in my kids' lives the whole time they were growing up, and then when me and their mother split, I go down to like 2 days a week for 3 hours a day, and I was just like, how does that work out? I raised my children, like that makes no sense. So Florida's, I think this is huge. I think this is so good for Florida. I think every state needs to implement this. It's just amazing.
You got to show me why it shouldn't be 50-50, not just automatically put me in that boat. Because a lot of times mom is not established to even have that much parental supervision. You know what I'm saying? So it should be always 50-50.
Yeah, well, it goes back to the mom's the nurturer, the caretaker, and that's kind of like the roles from back then. So, but then again, there's a lot of money being made also with the states, and so yeah, you can get into all that. But yeah, Ray, if you wanna give some advice too, I know you've dropped a lot of good advice right before, but if you got something else too, that'd be great.
Oh, absolutely. Not only just that. One of the things I like to share with men to kind of get them to thinking about how important it is for them to be responsible, active, and participant in their child's life, no matter whatever the arrangement may be or whatever it is that's set up. Is that, and I said it before, but I want to make sure that I'm clear with this so that they really get to understand to see this, is that your son is going to be a mirror of you. So if you are not actively participating in that child's life, when he become a father, he's going to be a mirror reflection of you to his child. So you're changing how situation is and your life structure and your family structure when it comes to that. And your daughter, she's going to pick a man exactly like you. And when I say that, that's a true situation. That's a true story. It's kind of crazy, but when I was saying it, because that happened to me. My daughters picked, and the crazy thing about it is they picked all the bad stuff that daddy was, and that's who they wanted. You know what I mean? Because that's what they're looking at.
Yeah.
And so they picked that person just like you, even the bad stuff. So it's very important that a dad, for their daughters that they have, that they be the best that they can. In every situation, they be the best that they can with that child as well, because she's going to pick somebody like you. And then your son is going to be exactly like you as well, too. So that's one of the things that I would definitely share with them, because I personally experienced what I'm talking about right here. This is my daughters picked somebody, all the bad stuff about daddy. You know what I mean? That's what they picked. You know what I mean? So I was like, golly. So I that's the reason why, just be mindful of understanding that you You are very important into their life, and how they pick and how they act is going to be very important too as well upon your action and how you are with them.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you guys coming on. This is such an amazing thing that you guys are doing. Florida's doing. Team Dad. Trying to get one of those shirts. That's dope. And
You can get
I
one,
love
my
it,
brother.
man.
Just send us the address. You just send us the address. You got one.
Perfect.
You
I
got
love
one,
it.
my brother. You got one.
Yeah, you guys are doing great, man. Thank you
You gotta
so
throw
much
my
for
hat
taking
in
the
there
time.
too. Yeah.
Say it again.
Throw your hat in there too. We got some turkey.
Absolutely.
Yo, hell yeah. I'll be
Yeah.
picked out.
Absolutely. We got a couple of stuff we can throw to you, man.
love
Send
it.
us the address. We'll promise you. Send us the address. We got some shirts, some hats. We got a little grilling spatula. You know what I mean? Nice,
Love it.
big one too. So we get it all to you, brother.
Perfect. Well, I think Florida is doing the right thing. They're definitely setting the way because I think this will be this will show other states that it's working and you need this, and they will start to implement it. So, thank you guys so much.
Yes, sir, man. We appreciate you
Oh,
for having
thank
us
you.
on, man.
We appreciate you giving us this opportunity, man.
Absolutely, we do. We do thank you so much for the opportunity, for allowing us to share about the program, our interaction with the program, our interaction with the dads as well, too. And we just thank you just for giving us this time to be able to talk about that. We really appreciate that.
Down.